Dear participants, welcome you again. Today we'll learn about methods of planting common plants in garden. First, I am going to discuss various category of plants. As in this figure, we can see plants are grouped under algae, bryophytes, pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperms. The first category of plant algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperms. The first category of plant algae, they are microscopic organisms. They are either unicellular to multicellulars. Next category of plants are bryophytes. They also have a thyloid structure, but some mosses have a leaf-like appearance. Then other type of plants, that is ferns or pteridophytes. They also, these plants have a vascular bundles, and all these three plants, they don't have a seed formation. So they are also known as cryptogams. They are without the seeds. And the next group of plant that are which has seeds and known as phanerogams or maybe spermatophytes. They are further categorized into two categories, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymno means naked. They don't have a visual flower appearance and they have a naked ovules, while angiosperm plants have a ovules inside the ovary. These gymnospermous plants have a conifers or cycads, while angiosperms have dicots and monocots, and we have vegetate like herbs, shrubs, trees. These all belong to the categories of angiosperms. So these all are the groups of plants we have basically studied in this particular topic. We will study ferns, some conifers and angiospermic plant, monocot as well as dicot. Then these angiospermic plants, depending upon their growth habits, they are either herbs, shrubs, trees, which we have studied earlier in our first lecture. Like herbs are small plants which don't have a woody stem, while shrubs has a medium height plants with multiple woody stems like we can see here, while trees are tall perennial plants with a single woody stem or trunk, while the other two categories, creepers and climber. Creepers are thin weak stem plant that creep along the ground as we can see in this particular image, and climbers are also thin weak stem plants but they climb on the other objects to grow, like we can see it on the support of the other plant stem, it is climbing on the this particular trunk of tree. So we have already discussed about these three plants on their descriptions in first class. Today we will discuss creepers, climbers, their planting method as well as planting methods for ferns, palms, etc. First we start with the climbers. This also referred to as a climbing plants or vines are botanical species equipped with specialized structure or adaptation that enable them to ascend and climb to various support in their surroundings. These plants employ diverse mechanisms to scale structures like walls, trellises, trees and other plants. Climbers are highly prized in gardening and landscaping for their capacity to introduce vertical interest, offer privacy, conceal unsightly structures, and create abundant greenery and floral display. There are various types of climbers exist based on their climbing mechanisms. The first one is twinner. These climbers feature supple stem that spiral around support as they grow upward. Example include honeysuckle and morning glory. As in this image we can see the morning glory plant. Then next type is which have a tendril. Tendril climbers develop a specialized structure that spiral around nearby objects for support. The classic example include grapevines and passion flowers. Then other one is the clangers. These have a clanging climber possess aerial roots, adhesive pads or similar structure that adhere directly to surfaces, enabling them to climb without extra support. Common example includes ivy and climbing hydrangea. The next type is scrambles. Scrambling climbers do not have a specific climbing structure but use their long flexible stems to scramble over nearby vegetation or structure. Roses and clematis can exhibit scrambling growth habits. The next is adhesive pads. Some climbers have, like ivy, develop specialized adhesive pads that enable them to adhere to surface securely. Like in this image we can see climber exhibit diverse forms including both deciduous and evergreen varieties, and they may yield flowers, foliage or edible fruits. They serve various purposes in garden, from crafting vertical garden in urban environments to enhancing conventional landscapes and offering shade and seclusion in outdoor settings. The planting methods for these climbers requires thoughtful consideration of each plant specific requirement as well as garden's aesthetic and functional objectives. Here are the some steps for planting of climbers. The first one is selecting the appropriate location. Evaluate the site condition including sunlight exposure, soil composition and available space before planting. Choose a location that offers sufficient support for climbers to ascend vertically, because it is the main thing which needed for climbers. Then we have to prepare a soil. The loosen soil and enrich with the organic matter like compost or aged manure to enhance fertility and drainage. Ensure that the soil pH is suitable for a specific climber species being planted. Then we have to begin the installation of support like trellises, arbors or pergolas that can accommodate the climbing habit of the plants. Ensure that the support are firmly anchored and capable of bearing the weight of mature climbers. Then planting process involves this: dig a hole slightly larger than the root ball of the climber, taking care not to disturb the root excessively. Gently remove the plant from its container, loosen the root ball if it's compacted and position it in the center of the hole. Ensure that the top of the root ball is level with the surrounding soil. Then backfill the hole with the soil and gently tamp it down and water thoroughly to settle the soils around the roots. Then there is a watering routine. Immediately after planting, water the climber generously to help it establish and minimize transplant shock. Keep the soil consistency moist, especially during periods of dry weather, but avoid waterlogging to the soil, which can lead to the root rot. Monitor soil moisture levels regularly and adjust watering frequency as needed. Then there is a mulching application. Apply a layer of organic mulch such as the straw, bark, chips or compost around the base of the plant to help retain soil moisture, suppress weed growth and regulate soil temperature. Maintain a mulch layer thickness of 2 to 3 inch, ensuring that it does not directly contact the stems or trunk of the climber to prevent potential rotting or pest issues. Then there is a training and pruning. As the climbing plant develops, guide its growth along the supports by gently securing the stems with the soft garden, twin or specialized plant ties. Regular pruning might be necessary to manage the plant size, eliminate dead or damaged branches, and encourage flowering. Then fertilization. It provides climber with a well-balanced fertilizers designed for flowering plants to support vigorous growth and abundant blossom. Adhere to the recommended application rates and frequency as specified by the product instructions. Then we have to also monitor for the pest and disease. Stay vigilant for signs of pest and disease like aphids, scale insects, powdery mildew, and leaf spot. Take swift action to address any issues using suitable pest control methods or fungicides to safeguard the health of the plant. By following these methods and providing proper care and maintenance, climbers can thrive and create stunning vertical displays in gardens, adding beauty, privacy, and vertical interest to outdoor spaces. Now we will going to discuss about the some common examples of climbers. The first one, that is clematis. Clematis species renowned for their vibrant and striking flowers. Clematis vines offer a wide array of colors and flowering periods, making them popular choices for climbing plants. The next one is honeysuckle, which has a botanical name Lonicera. Honeysuckle vines boast fragrant blossoms that draw in pollinators such as bees and hummingbirds. Their sweet aroma is highly appreciated throughout. They can become invasive in certain areas. The next plant is morning glory, or also known as the Ipomia. Morning glory climbers are recognized for their striking trumpet flowers, as we can see in this image. These flowers open in morning and close later in the day. That's why they are known as the morning glory. They are rapid grower and simple to grow. The next one is jasmine, which has a botanical name Jasminum. Jasmine vines yield fragrant star-shaped flower prized for their use in perfumes and teas. They thrive in sunny spot with well-drained soil. These are the images of jasmine. Then the next type of climbing plant is passion flower, which also known as the passiflora. Passion flowers are renowned for their elaborate exotic blooms and edible fruits. They are magnets for butterflies and bees and can be potted or trained to climb trellises. The next one is trumpet vine, which has a botanical name Campris reticens. Trumpet vines boast large trumpet-shaped flower that hummingbird and find irresistibles. They are robust climbers capable of covering expansive structures such as arbors and fences, as we can see in these images. The other plant is wisteria. Wisteria vines are celebrated for their drooping cultures of fragrant flowers, which come in shade of purple, as we can see in this image, and blue, pink or white. They need sturdy support structure and regular pruning to manage their size and shape. These climbing plants add variety in the garden area. The next is climbing roses. These species of roses are admired for their profusion of blooms in the diverse colors, valued for their fragrance and ornamental appeal. They rely on support for their canes and thrive with consistent pruning to maintain shapes and promote flowering. We can see beautiful pink color flowers of rose species. The next one is climbing hydrangea. The hydrangea anomali species showcase large, white, lace-cap flowers and glossy green leaves. They excel in shady conditions and can be guided to ascend walls, fences and trees, adding charm to the various landscape, as we can see in this particular image. The next method is for creepers. They sometimes also referred as a trailing plants or ground cover plants, are botanical species that tend to grow close to the ground and spread horizontally, often rooting and nodes along their stems. In contrast to climbers which climb vertically, creepers typically extend along the ground or cascade over the edges of containers or walls. These plants are highly regarded in landscaping and gardening for their capacity to offer ground cover, mitigate soil erosion, and introduce texture and visual appeal to garden beds and landscapes. The characteristic features of creepers. Here are some distinctive characters and features of creepers. Indeed, creepers are characterized by their low growth habit, featuring stems that spread horizontally along the ground or cascade over nearby surfaces. This prostrate growth pattern allows them to create dense ground cover and fill in empty spaces in ground beds and landscapes. They have a numerous creeper possess nodes along their stems capable of generating roots upon contact with soil, facilitating the plant spread and the establishment. Rooting at the nodes, numerous creepers possess nodes along their stems capable of generating roots upon contact with soil, facilitating the plant spread and establishment of new growth points. The next thing characteristics are adaptability. Creepers often demonstrate adaptability, thriving in various growing conditions such as full sun, partial shade, and even shaded areas. Some species exhibit tolerance to poor soil and drought. Then they are at ground cover. A primary function of creepers is to provide ground cover, aiding in weight suppression, moisture retention, and protection against soil erosion. The last thing is aesthetic appeals. Creepers are esteemed for their ornamental attributes, with many species boasting attractive foliage, flowers, or berries. They serve to soften garden beds' edges, fill gaps between plants, and enhance visual interest in landscapes. They also known for erosion prevention. The dense foliage mat created by creepers aids in stabilizing soils on slopes and embankments, mitigating erosion caused by wind and water runoff. Creepers are frequently utilized in container gardening and hanging baskets, where their trailing growth pattern introduces vertical interest and cascades over the container edges. Examples of common creepers includes various species like English ivy, vinca, creeping thyme, creeping phlox, and ground covering roses. In summary, creepers prove to be versatile and valuable components in landscaping and gardening, offering both aesthetic appeal and functional advantages in a variety of outdoor environment. The methods of planting creepers also require same steps as in case of climbers, but there are some changes according to their planting methods. Like planting creepers involves several steps. Just first is the site selection as in case of climbers. For site selection, we have to choose an appropriate location for planting the creepers based on factors such as sunlight, exposure, soil type, drainage, and available space. Creeper may thrive in full sun, partial shade, or full shade depending upon the species. Then we have to prepare the soil. The soil preparation is needed by loosening it to depth of about 12 inches, that is approximately 30 centimeter, and removing any weeds, rocks, or debris. Then we have to incorporate organic matter like compost or aged manure to enhance soil structure, fertility, and drainage. Then we have to select the creepers which we have to introduce in the garden. So we have to select healthy creeper plant from a reputable nursery or garden center. Consider the specific requirements and characteristics of the creepers you plan to plant, including their growth habit, mature size, and flowering or foliage attributes. Then we have to create planting holes. For this, dig planting holes that are slightly larger than the root balls of the creeper plants, ensuring proper spacing according to the recommended guidelines for the particular species. The planting depth Place the creeper plant in the prepared holes at the same depth they were growing in their containers, ensuring that the top of the root ball is level with surrounding soil surface. Then we have to backfilling. Fill the planting holes with the amended soil, gently firming it around the roots of the creeper plants to eliminate air pockets. Water thoroughly after planting to settle the soil around the soil. And the last is mulching. Apply a layer of organic mulch such as the shredded bark or compost around the base of the creeper plants. Mulch aids in retaining soil moisture, suppressing weed growth and regulating soil temperature. Then support structure. Some creepers may require support structure such as trellises, arbors, fences to climb and spread. Ensure that support structure are installed securely before or shortly after planting the creepers. Then watering. Newly planted creepers require adequate water to establish their root system. Water deeply and regularly, especially during dry periods, but avoid overwatering to prevent root rot. Maintenance. Monitor the growth of creepers regularly and provide necessary care. Pruning or training may be required to promote healthy growth and control spreading. Remove any dead, diseased, or damaged foliage promptly. By following these steps, you can effectively plant and maintain creepers to enhance the beauty and functionality of your garden of landscape. The common examples of creepers includes ivy, the hydra species. Ivy is a well-known creeper appreciated for its trailing or climbing nature. It boasts dark green leaves and can easily climb to walls, fences, and other structure with aerial rootlets. The next one is also vinca, which is also known as periwinkle. Vinca is a low-growing creeper featuring glossy green leaves and delicate blue or white flowers. It commonly utilizes as ground cover in gardens and landscape, as we can see the images of Vinca minor. The next plant is sweet potato vine, or also known as Ipomea batatas. Sweet potato vine is admired for its vibrant, heart-shaped leaf, as we can see in these images, and their robust trailing growth. Available in a range of hues such as green, purple, and variegated, it adds a striking visual appeal to gardens and containers. The next creeper is creeping jenny, which is also known as Leishmania numularia. Creeping jenny is a rapid spreading creeper distinguished by its vivid green, rounded leaves and petite yellow flowers. We can see there is a beautiful vivid green rounded leaves. It is frequently employed as ground cover in damp, shaded locations. The next one is creeping thyme, also known as botanically Thymus cerfellum. Creeping thyme is a compact creeper characterized by its aromatic foliage and diminutive pink or purple blooms. Resilient to drought, it serves as an aromatic ground cover in sunlight areas. Then creeping fig, which botanically known as Ficus pumila, is a self-adhesive vine featuring petite leathery leaves that densely cloak walls, fences and various structures. It is prized for its decorative foliage and its ability to provide greenery to vertical spaces. Then Virginia creeper, which is botanically known as Parthenocissus cunifolia. Virginia creeper is a robust climber distinguished by its five-lobed leaves that transform into vibrant head hues during autumn. Its ability to blanket large areas make it a favored choice for ornamental foliage. Next plant, creeper is Algerian ivy, which is botanically known as Hedgera algeriensis. Algerian ivy is a rapid growing creeper recognized for its sizable glossy leaves, commonly employed as a ground cover or for concealing walls and inclines. It adds lush greenery to landscapes. Then the next one is snow in summer, commonly botanically known as Ceratisum tomentosum. It is a diminutive creeper featuring silvery gray foliage and delicate white blossoms, as we can see in these images. It's known for its resilience to drought. It is a popular selection in ground cover in rock gardens and borders.